Hare Krishna. Hello friends, how are you all? I hope you all are doing well. This is Ritendra and I am preacher of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, and I come with very special lecture. I am going to make all of you understand about Karma Yoga. What are the Karma Yoga and what is the definition of karma, and what kind of karma we should have to do by which we can make ourselves free from the cycle of the birth and death. But before I start my lecture, I would like to introduce Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. This is Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, and this is a most authentic source. And I have been reading Shrimad Bhagavad Gita from my childhood, and I understood that Shrimad Bhagavad Gita is the best way to morally motivate anybody. And I'm trying to morally motivate to those people who are actually frustrated and attempted to commit suicide, because Bhagavad Gita is the best way to morally motivate anybody. So let's talk about Karma Yoga without wasting time. Karma Yoga. First, we should have to know about what is karma, and what is the definition of karma, and what kind of karma, type of karma, and what kind of karma will not affect and make all of us free from the cycle of the birth and death. First, let's see about karma. Karma is nothing. Karma is nothing but perform our prescribed duty without being disturbed, without keeping any kind of expectation. It is a secondary one, but karma is only like a perform our prescribed duty. We don't have any other option. We have only two options. Either we will do something and we will not do something. Either we will feed someone or we will not feed someone. And karma, which one is born with a three mode of the material nature. Karma, which took a birth with a three mode of the material nature. These are Rajas, Tamas and Sattva, three gunas. Karma is like to perform our prescribed duty without being attached. Karma is like to perform our prescribed duty without being attached. And one who perform his prescribed duty, listen it very carefully, one who perform his prescribed duty without being attached, one who perform his prescribed duty without being attached, only can achieve Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Only can achieve Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Lord Krishna, the Supreme, said that one who consider all work as karma. Lord Krishna here elaborated. Lord Krishna here mentioned that. Lord Krishna here said that one who consider all work as a karma. One who consider all work as a karma, but all karma as not work. Lord Krishna here said all the works are karma. All the works are karma, but all the karmas are not works. And only that person can understand what is karma and what are work. What is the difference between the karma and work? Karma is called of that karya or work. Karma is called of that karya or work with which the prithvi expectations are to be associated. Prithvi expectations are to be associated. Listen it very, very, very carefully. Karma is called of that karya or work with which the prithvi expectations are to be associated. And let's see about type of karma. Karma mainly two type of karma. First one is sakam karma and another one is niskam karma. What is sakam karma? Sakam karma is only that kind of karma with which the prithvi expectation with a result of karma. Prithvi expectations are associated with a result of karma. And niskam karma, without striving for the expectations, without having any kind of expectation to get any kind of result from karma. That is called a niskam karma. And many people keep out telling to us, all of us, we have heard from our childhood, we all have to indulge ourselves in a karma. But what kind of karma? What kind of karma they are talking about? They are talking about sakam karma, and very very few people know about that. We all have to associate with a sakam karma rather than niskam karma. Without keeping any kind of expectation, we have to indulge ourselves to do our prescribed duty or karma. But some authors also, means some author or spiritual master or spiritual guru, they talk about three type of karmas. Three type of karma. First one is karma, second one is akarma, and another one is, means last one, third one is vikarma. Karma, akarma and vikarma. What are the difference between the karma, akarma and vikarma? Karma, action which perform in terms of the one's prescribed duty, as mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Actually, this is mentioned in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. Action which are performed in terms of one's prescribed duty, as mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Akarma, action which make one free from the cycle of the birth and death. Akarma which make, akarma and niskam karma both are same. Action which make one free from the cycle of the birth and death. Third one is vikarma, action which performed by the misuse of the one's freedom, which direct one to lower life form. Means all kind of wrong deeds, wrong doers are to be known as a vikarma. Let's talk about what kind of means. Let's talk about Lord Krishna said about niskam karma. Lord Krishna here said, verse number 47, chapter number 2. Lord Krishna here said, verse number 47, chapter number 2. Lord Krishna here said, Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phalesu kadachana ma karma phal heturabhu ma te sangoshva karmani. I have to repeat it because this is one of my most favorite verse of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, and this is also most famous. Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phalesu kadachana ma karma phal heturabhu ma te sangosva karmani. Here Lord Krishna said that you have a right to perform your prescribed duty. Lord Krishna here talk with all of us. We all have a right to perform our prescribed duty. Each and every living entity has a right to perform his or her prescribed duty. But you are not entitled, but we are not entitled to fruit of the action. We all are not entitled to the fruit of the action. Never consider yourself the cause of the result of your activities, and never to be attached to not doing your duty. Lord Krishna here said we should, means you all not have to attach with your prescribed duty or your activities, and never to be attached to not doing your duty. You all have to perform your prescribed duty, whatever circumstances, whatever situation will come across. You don't have to give up your prescribed duty. This is said in verse number 47, chapter number 2. Lord Krishna further said in verse number 48, chapter number 2, Lord Krishna here said, means what are the difference between yoga and karma? Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyakta dhananjaya siddhiya siddhyo samabhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Lord Krishna here described, Lord Krishna here said about yoga. What is yoga? Lord Krishna here said, Yogastha kuru karmani. The karma is yoga, then yoga is karma. Both are same. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyakta dhananjaya siddhiya siddhyo samabhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Lord Krishna here said, perform your prescribed duty. Perform your duty equiposed. Lord Krishna here said, perform your prescribed duty with equiposed. Means whatever circumstances, whatever situation, whether there is a happiness or tremendous sadness, threefold of the miseries, you have to perform your duty as to be neutral. Oh Arjuna, Lord Krishna further said, abandoning all the attachment to success or failure. Lord Krishna here said, abandoning to all attachment, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such a equanimity of the mind, such a equanimity of mind is called yoga. To keep yourself equiposed in both conditions, whether there is a happiness, there is a tremendous happiness or threefold of the miseries, and if you can perform your duty as to be neutral without being disturbed, that kind of equanimity of your mind is known as a yoga. Why would we like to associate with yoga? Why would we like to do practice of yoga? Because the only objective is to equanimity of our mind, to equipose our mind in both conditions, whether there is a success or failure, whether there is happiness or sadness. So this is said by Lord Krishna, Yogastha Kuru Karmani. Karma is only yoga. Yoga is only karma. Lord Krishna further said in verse number 50, chapter number 2. Verse number 50, chapter number 2. Lord Krishna here said, Buddhi yukto jahatitah yubhe sukrata duskrute tasmad yoga yujasva yoga karmasu kausalam. Yoga karmasu kausalam. This is also most famous. Yoga karmasu kausalam. Lord Krishna here said, Buddhi yukto jahatitah ube sukruto duskrutate tasmad yoga yujusva yoga karmasu kausalam. Lord Krishna here said, meaning or the purport of this verse is verse number 50 of chapter 2. A man engaged in the devotional services. Lord Krishna here said, a man engaged in the devotional services rid himself both good and bad reaction. The person who engaged in the devotional service will definitely rid off from the good and bad reaction. And the person who is performing his prescribed duty, the person who is doing his karma in the prescribed, doing his karma in the devotion, that person is known as a yoga. The person is known as in a trance form or in a yoga form. And bad reaction, rid off from the good and bad reaction even in this life. And therefore strive for yoga, which is art of all work. Yogastha Kuru Karmani, strive for yoga. Yoga is not like a meditation. Meditation is somehow different. Here Lord Krishna talk about karma as considered as a yoga, and yoga is considered as a karma. So strive for karma, strive for yoga. Which one is the art of all work? To do your prescribed duty, which one is art of all work? This is said in verse number 50, chapter number 2. Lord Krishna further said in verse number 56 of chapter 2. Lord Krishna here said, Dukhesu anuvigdamanah sukhesu vigataspua vitaraga bhaya krodha stitadhir munir uchate. Lord Krishna here said, Dukhesu anuvigdamanah sukhesu vigataspua vitaraga bhaya krodha stitadhir munir uchate. Lord Krishna here said, one who is not disturbed. Lord Krishna here said, one who is not disturbed in the mind. One who is not disturbed in the mind, even amidst of the threefold of miseries. Even there is a threefold of miseries, a great miseries or great sadness. The person who is not being disturbed or not elated when there is a happiness, or not consider himself as a paramount if there is a success or there is a happiness, and one who is free from the attachment, fear and anger is called a sage of steady mind. Lord Krishna here said sage of the steady mind, and the person who is doing his prescribed duty without being disturbed, that is considered as a yoga. And the person who can make his mind equipoise in both conditions, that is known as the sage of the steady mind. Lord Krishna further said, Dhaito Vishyan Punsa Sangha Setu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamato Krodho Bijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Smriti Vibhrama Smriti Hinsat Buddhinaso Buddhinasat Pranashyati. Lord Krishna here said in verse number 62 and 63. Listen it very carefully. Verse number 62 and 63, chapter number 2. Lord Krishna here said, ध्यायतो विश्वान् पुंस संगस्येतुपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधो विञ्जायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोह सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रम स्मृतिभ्रमासो बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. Lord Krishna here said, I would like to explain in Hindi because it is very easy to understand this verse in Hindi. Lord Krishna here said, फल की आशा से कामना प्रकट होती है. फल की आशा से कामना प्रकट होती है और कामना का स्वभाव है असंतोष्टि. कामना का क्या स्वभाव है? असंतोष्टि. असंतोष के कारण क्रोध जन्म लेता है. असंतोष के कारण क्रोध जन्म लेता है और क्रोध के कारण मोह जन्म लेता है और मोह के कारण क्रोध के कारण मोह जन्म लेता है और मोह के कारण व्यक्ति आचार और व्यवहार का ज्ञान ही भूल जाता है. मोह के कारण व्यक्ति आचार और व्यवहार का ज्ञान ही भूल जाता है. ज्ञान के चले जाने से बुद्धि चली जाती है. अनुचित प्रकार के कार्य होने लगते हैं. अनुचित प्रकार के कार्य होने लगते. ज्ञान के जाने से बुद्धि चली जाती है और अनुचित प्रकार के कार्य होने लगते हैं और समाज और सोसाइटी ऐसे व्यक्ति का शत्रु बन जाते हैं और ऐसे व्यक्ति का पूर्ण रूप से अंत में पतन हो जाता है. तो मतलब this is like that the ultimate the expectations are main cause for the degradation of the soul. If we are keeping any expectation, then we will definitely attach with the material body or material things, or we are not able to make ourselves free from the cycle of the birth and death. That's why Lord Krishna talk about niskam karma. If we can be a karma yogi, if we try to do our karma without being disturbed, if we try to do our prescribed duty without being disturbed, with keeping our mind equipoised in both conditions, whether success or failure, whether happiness or sadness, then we can make ourselves free from the cycle of the birth and death. And many people talk about karma, and many people talk about Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, but all are associated with each other. Without Sankhya Yoga, without Karma Yoga and without Bhakti Yoga, no one can get Supreme Personality of the Godhead. So we have to pass from all the process. If the person who is in devotional services, that particular person will definitely get self-realized. And the meaning of the Sankhya Yoga, in a Sankhya Yoga, we have to know ourselves as a soul, only soul, not from physical body. So from the self-realization by associated in the devotional practices, one can get this thing. Lord Krishna further said in chapter number 3, verse number 8. Chapter number 3, verse number 8. Lord Krishna here said, Niyatam kuru karma tvam karma jaya hi akarmanah sarira yatrapi cha tena parisaddhate natu akarmana. Lord Krishna here said, Niyatam kuru karma tvam karma jaya hi akarmana sarira yatrapi cha tena parisaddhate natu akarmana. Lord Krishna here said, perform your prescribed duty. Lord Krishna here said, perform your prescribed duty. For working, so is better than not working. To do something is rather better than to do no, means don't do anything. Means for doing so is better than not working. And one cannot even maintain one physical body without work. Means one can't maintain his physical body without work. So it is rather better to perform your prescribed duty. Means we are only having two options. Either we have to do something and we don't have to do something. And we will it is like we will feed someone and we will not feed someone. We will eat something or we will not eat something. We will have only two options. We don't have any other option. Like it means any middle option. Means any other middle option. We don't have either performing duty and not performing duty. Either or. We are only having two options. Lord Krishna further said in verse number 17 and 18 of chapter 3. Lord Krishna here said, verse number 17 and 18 of chapter 3. Lord Krishna here said, Yasato atma ratir iva syad atma तृप्तास च मनः आत्मनय इव च सन्तुष्ट तस्य कर्मा न विद्यते नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थो न कर्ते नेहा कश्चन न चैय सर्वे भूतेषु कश्चिद् अर्था व्यपर्शय. Lord Krishna here said, but for one who take a pleasure in self, Lord Krishna here said, one who got a self-realization, for one who take a pleasure in the self, and whose human life is one of the self-realized, one whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in self only, who is only satisfied with the self only and fully satiated, for him there is a no duty. I must have to repeat this verse. But for one who take a pleasure in self, but for one who take a pleasure in self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and whose human life is one of self-realization, by devotional services, one can make himself free from the karma and the result of the karma. And whose human life is one of self-realization, and by devotional practices one can easily get self-realization, and devotional practices is one of the most easiest way to get a Supreme Personality to Godhead, and one of the self-realization, and one who is satisfied in the self only and fully satiated, for him there is a no duty, for of that person there is a no duty, there is a no karma for that person who is self-realized. And Lord Krishna further said, a self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duty. This is most important. Please make it underline and note it down. A self-realized man has no purpose. A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duty. To fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duty, nor has he any reason not to perform such a work, nor has he any reason not to perform such a work, and nor he has any need to depend on any other living beings. He doesn't has any reason to depend upon anything, who got self-realized, who is self-realized and self-motivated, and who is in the devotional practices. So this is mentioned in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita about karma. Lord Krishna further said in verse number 90 and 20 of chapter 3, Lord Krishna here said, तस्माद् असकाय सतातं कार्यं कर्म समचर अष्टको हे आचरण कर्मा परम अपोनिति पुरुषा कर्माण हि संसिद्धिम् अस्तिता जनकाधिये लोका संग्रम इवपि समपायसं कृतम् अर्हसि. Lord Krishna here said, तस्माद् असकाय सततं कार्यं कर्म समस्सर असकटो हे आचरण कर्मा परम अपोनिति पुरुषा कर्मान हि संसिद्धम् असतित्ता जनकद्य लोका संग्राहम् इवपि समापास्यम कृतम अर्हसि. Lord Krishna here said, the meaning of the purport of this verse is, therefore, without being attached. Lord Krishna here said, therefore, without being attached to fruitive activities, one should act as a matter of duty. One should act as a matter of duty. Without being attached to the fruit of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. For by working without attached, one attains the supreme. For by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. Kings such as a Janaka attain the perfection solely by performance of prescribed duty. If we are doing our karma, then we will definitely get a perfection. So Lord Krishna here said, King Janaka, who got a perfection, who attained a perfection solely by performance of his prescribed duty. If we are indulge ourselves in with a niskam karma, or if we are doing our prescribed duty as a karma, then we will definitely get a supreme perfection. So this is the biggest benefit of, this is a major benefit of karma. And why should we have to perform our prescribed duty? In order to get a supreme perfection, in order to control our mind, in order to equipose our mind in both conditions, whether there is a success or failure. And it can only possible by devotional services and by stage of steady mind. And therefore, just sake of educating the people in general, for the sake of educating people in general, you should perform your work. Means for the sake of, here Lord Krishna said to Arjuna, for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. You should perform your work. Lord Krishna further said, verse number 21 of chapter 3. This is my most favorite verse, and by this verse I have conducted a lecture on leadership. So Lord Krishna here said, verse number 21, chapter number 3. Listen it very carefully. Verse number 21, chapter number 3. Lord Krishna here said, Yada yada acharti shreshta, yada yada acharti shreshta, tada tada ivarto jana, sayata pramanam kurute, lokasa tada anuvartate. Lord Krishna here said, Yada yada acharti shreshta, tada tada ivarto jana, saita pramanam kurute, lokasa tada anuvartate. Lord Krishna here said, whatever action a great man perform, whatever action a great man perform, common men follow in his footstep. Common men follow in his footstep, and whatever standard he set by exemplary act, whatever standards he set by exemplary acts, all the world pursue. All the world pursue. Lord Krishna here said, Yada yada acharti shreshta. Lord Krishna here said, in order to educate a people in general, you have to perform your prescribed duty. If you are not performing your prescribed duty, then people will follow, because you are a great archer, and people will follow, and people will definitely skip. People will definitely give up their prescribed duty. So for the sake of the people, in order to educate the people in general, you have to perform your prescribed duty. We have to perform our prescribed duty. We don't have to give up our prescribed duty. We don't have to give up our karma. So this is said by Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna further said in verse number 35, chapter number 3, Shreyan savadharmo viguna paradharma tasa anistita Swadharme nidanam shreya paradharmo bhavayah bhayavah paradharmo bhayavah. Lord Krishna here said, it is a far better to discharge one prescribed duty. It is a far better to discharge one prescribed duty, even though faulty. You have to perform your prescribed duty. However, your prescribed duty is with a full of fault. Is a faulty. You have to perform even then you have to perform your prescribed duty. And then another duty means another prescribed duty is superb and spectacular, but your prescribed duty is with a full of fault. Even then you have to perform only your prescribed duty. Adhere with your karma and adhere with your prescribed duty. Lord Krishna, and even you know that your ability is rather, your competency is superb, and you can much better perform another prescribed duty. Even then, you have to do only your prescribed duty to think about another prescribed duty. Distraction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in the another duty. Lord Krishna here said, distraction in the course of performing one's own duty. Destruction, however you will get a supreme destruction, however you will get a catastrophic situation, how will you get a total destruction, total destroy yourself, even then you have to perform your prescribed duty. Which one is better than engaging in the another prescribed duty? For to follow another path is dangerous. To follow someone path is rather dangerous. You have to follow only your path. You have to follow your karma only. You have to follow whatever is prescribed to you. So this is verse number 35, chapter number 3. What else Lord Krishna said in verse number 60, 70 and 80 and chapter number 4, 60, 70, 80 of chapter number 4. Lord Krishna here said, even the intelligence are bewildered in the determining what is action. Lord Krishna here said, even the intelligence are bewildered in the determining what is action and what is inaction. Even the intelligence are bewildered. Even intelligence got confused. What is action and what is inaction? And now I shall explain to you what is action. What action is, and knowing which you shall be liberated from all the misfortune. In the intricacy of the action is very hard to understand. Lord Krishna here said, intricacy of the action is very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what is action, what is forbidden action, and what is inaction. Lord Krishna here said, what is action, what is forbidden action, and what is inaction. Lord Krishna here said, one who see inaction in action. This is, listen it very carefully. This is most important. One who sees inaction in action, inaction into action, inaction into action, and action into inaction, action into inaction is the intelligence among the man. That person is very intelligent among the men. Who sees inaction into action, inaction into action, and action into inaction is intelligence among the men, and he is the transcendental position. He is in the transcendental position, and although engaged in all the sort of activities, that particular person will never attach with his prescribed duty. He will definitely achieve transcendental position. Who see action into inaction and inaction into action. This is superbly explained by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Lord Krishna further said, verse number 41 of chapter 4. Yoga sanyasta karmama jnana sanchina samasyam atmavatana karmani nidahati dhananjaya. Lord Krishna here said, one who acts in devotional services. This is the most important. One who acts in the devotional services, renouncing the fruit of action, and whose doubt have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, and whose doubt has been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. That person is situated factually in the self, and thus he is not bound by the reaction of the work or conqueror of the riches. Here Lord Krishna addressed to Arjuna as Dhananjay, conqueror of the riches. One who acts in the devotional services, one who indulges in the devotional services and renouncing the fruit of action, renouncing the fruit of his action or karma, whose doubt has been destroyed by transcendental knowledge. That person who renounces the fruit of his action, whose doubt will definitely destroyed by the transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. That person is situated with a self or self-realized person, and thus he is not bound by the reaction of the work or conqueror of the riches. That is said by Lord Krishna, verse number 41, chapter number 4. Verse number 41, chapter number 4. What else Lord Krishna said in verse number 40 and 50, chapter number 2? Matra svarsastu kante sitoshno sukh dukhedah agama papyo nityasa tamasa titikaksha bharata yam hina vyatayante ita purusam purusasava samadukha sukham dhiram so mrityatve kalpate. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of the happiness and distress. Lord Krishna here said, O son of Kunti, the non-permanent of appearance of happiness and distress, and that disappearance in the due course of time are like an appearance and disappearance of the winter and summer season. They arise from the sense of perception. That there arise happiness and distress. Both arise from the sense of perception. O season of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. One who is indulge himself in a karma yoga or has to be karma yogi, that person will definitely be never get any kind of disturbance from his karma and from the happiness and distress. Oh, best among the men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress is a steady in both happiness and distress, is certainly eligible for the liberation. And karma yoga will teach how to make ourselves how to make ourselves to keep in ourselves to equipoise in both conditions, whether there is a success or failure, whether there is a happiness or distress. So this is said by Lord Krishna, and we can learn so many things from karma yoga, how to keep ourselves free from the cycle of the birth and death, and how to control our mind. Lord Krishna further said, verse number 28, chapter number 2. Avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyahi bharata avyakta nidinaniyan iva tartaka paridevana. Lord Krishna here said, all created beings are unmanifested in the beginning. All created beings are unmanifested in their beginning and manifest in that interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? Why should we have to lament? Means at the beginning all the living beings are, all created beings or living beings are unmanifested, then they become a manifest in an interim stage, and then again they are unmanifest, they will get unmanifested. Then what is the cause for lamentation? Why should we have to lament? This is said by Lord Krishna. Why should you have to lament? Why should we have to lament for anything, whatever we gained or whatever we lost? We have to keep ourselves equipoised in both conditions, whether we will get something or we will lose something. Okay, we will lose something. Lord Krishna further said, verse number 38, chapter number 2. Sukha dukha samakritva labha labho jaya jayo tato yodayu jashva nevam papam vavapsasi sukh dukhe samekritva labha labho jaya jayo tato yodayu jashva nevam papam vavapsasi. Lord Krishna here said, do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without consider happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur the sin. You shall never incur the sin. And I would have to say for this young generation, if you don't have any expectation to get a good result in an exam, and if you are performing your prescribed duty, working hard is your prescribed duty. If you are doing your prescribed duty, then you will definitely get a good result. But if you got failed, then if you will get failed, then you will not get a depression, because you don't have any expectations, and you will definitely be self-satisfied. And we have to make ourselves learn how to be self-satisfied. And this by this karma yoga we can make ourselves free from the cycle of the birth and death. So niskam karma yoga, by which we can easily make people free from the bring people out from the frustration, from the severe depression. So thanks for listening me. If you are having any question regarding karma yoga, then please put your comment below this video. And thanks for listening me, thanks for your support, and please take care of yourself in this corona pandemic. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.